Hey everybody, it's Edwardo. I am a little annoyed with myself. I had a nice 15, 16-minute overview of the scores and everything and all the strategies involved and what we needed for so-and-so person to win and stuff. And it all got deleted. So I don't even know if I have it in me anymore to really go over it, but here are your scores. Ring balls maintaining a slim just under 4 point lead over Jaybird and almost a 10 point lead on myself. My fatal error, as it was so eloquently pointed out in chat the other day, was having one too many day players. It looks like the only optimal strategy you can count on in this game so far is that you're only going to need about one day player per call sheet, unless there's some situation where one movie's so great that you need pretty much everybody, and then all the others suck. But for now, the optimal strategy includes just one day player. I did two. I could have afforded, I believe, another co-star from The Great, and the 20 point difference would actually have me in the lead. So good job. So that oversight cost me. Jaybird hanging in there. We had some movement with Basketball County's debut last night. At least it finally got some IMDb user ratings, which was pretty clutch for it. I don't know if it's going to get covered at all by Rotten Tomatoes. There's not even a page up for it, which is tragic. Looks like the Brits have weighed in on Dead Still, so this will not be a defaulter, despite its late Sunday night, early Monday morning release. So those with Dead Still on their call sheets can breathe a sigh of relief. Hightown, little movement here. Since it debuts on Sunday on satellite and terrestrial TV, although it's already been available most of this week on the Starz streaming app, I think we'll see some movement here once audiences en masse get their hands on it. Plus, once both Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb opens up their ratings system to allow it to be rated. Looks like the Au Pair Nightmare, sadly, will end up being a defaulter. Lifetime movies are very hit and miss, and they're very niche also, which actually would have helped us in this game if you had the Au Pair Nightmare, because if it's so niche that even the critics don't cover it, then usually the audiences will see it. But this has danger of possibly being a defaulter. But I guess we'll see. It's a Sunday night release, so we may still sneak in some scores at the final scoring update. The Great, I watched the first episode of The Great last night, and pretty much lived up to its name. It's really funny. Audiences seem to like it, critics seem to like it, and I think as the weekend goes on, I think we'll see some upward movement in this as more people are exposed to The Great. And right now, oddly enough, The Last Narc is a defaulter. Full row of default scores. And as I was saying in the pod that you guys did not see, that the problem with Prime is that they have something like 100,000 titles on Amazon Prime Video. It's easy for stuff to get lost, even if it's new. So that probably explains why it hasn't been covered by critics or audiences yet. It might just be hard to find. So, and also their interface isn't nearly as optimized as, say, like a Netflix to engage you with recommendations and stuff that they think you may like. Like, their recommendation engine is nowhere nearly as sophisticated as Netflix's, who's been doing this for a long time. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not like Amazon doesn't have the money to do it, or they're not deeply invested in AI, because they are. But maybe it's just not a real focus point for Bezos and crew. Actually, it's Jennifer Salke. She's working at NBC. She's running Amazon Prime Video. Maybe it's just not a focus point for them yet. We'll see. Snowpiercer debuts Sunday night, so definitely expect some upward momentum on these scores. Critics seem to be kind of meh, but it's a great high concept, in a somewhat post-apocalyptic world where it's cold outside. there's this one like huge long train carrying on the remainder of humanity, with first class living up at the front car, and going through the classes all the way to the back of the of the train, and the tensions within that. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out as a series, because I saw the movie directed by Bong Joon-ho, that same guy of Parasite fame, one of my favorite movies of all time. And Scoob just didn't do the numbers, at least not yet. Scoob, what kind of sample size do we have on Scoob? 1,700 people, 6.2. That might be kind of hardened in there. You might see some grateful parents tick it upwards some, but looks like Scoob, despite its high price, isn't going to deliver on its promise. God of Cheese, take a look at your call sheet real quick. Even though this is the second time I'm doing it, I'm so mad at myself. How could I delete an entire show? White Lines, yes, White Lines seems to be dragging you down. White Lines has been somewhat maligned by audiences. This one group that I'm in, that's of Facebook group I'm in of avid TV watchers, just totally is dumped on White Lines. Critics not loving it, and then 5.8. It's all right, but still not too far above average. White Lines people, it's not going to give you what you want. Gamble 24 X7 G24. What you got? What do you need to win? I already know what you need to win because I covered this last time, but you did not see. But basically, it's this headliner stack right here of Narc. Of the last Narc. The last Narc needs to do something, anything, to get you back up in the game. So if that happens, take a look what happens if the last Narc gets, like, say, an 85 and, like, an 8.0. Boom, you squeak right into first. So we're holding out hope for you. Not really. I still would like to win. And actually, my path to victory is just, it's just blocked off by my own incompetence. Not having a co-star instead of day player cost me 20 points. I'd be winning this thing by about 10 points. It's my bad. But if I were to root for any other call sheet this week, it might be G24, longtime Cinema Draft player, all-time Cinema Draft money leader. And actually, let's check in with Neil Armstrong, our benefactor, the guy who doubled the prize pool for us this week, and the very first winner of the Cinema Draft game, back when it was up and running on the site. Let's take a look at Neil Armstrong, a.k.a. Jay Devlin. Also my podcast guest this week, if you are so inclined to watch. Yeah, White Lines is dragging you down. Tempted by Danger. A bit of a lifetime sinkhole. Scoob, overpriced, underperformed. Proximity just sucks. Look at this score for Proximity. It would have been better if it just been a default score. That's lower than the default score, 69.5. That's not what you want. But Basketball County found some gold here, albeit at a price, and actually giving us faith in documentaries again. Those used to be our highest performers. Right now, looks like as far as value goes, Ring Balls, 13.81, very, very good value for his dollar. Only spent $87,000. It's pretty baller. And so some pretty good value this week. And Mom, poor sweet dear draft mom, just DFL again. I coached her last week. She went off and created a really good call sheet. Looks like she's going to be in need of coaching again, because this call sheet is an abomination. Love you, Mom, but it sucks. 4 proximities. Terrible. Snowpiercer hasn't debuted yet. Snowpiercer could actually get you some numbers. The Last Narc, not your fault. It's a defaulter. I actually kind of looked over at The Last Narc a little bit myself. And Castle on the Ground is just okay. But just okay is not going to help you win the DraftStream game. Right now, it's got you DFL. Very low value, nearly maxed out your budget. But it's competitive this week. We have our largest player pool yet. We have 14 people. going for $60 first place prize, $30 for second, $10 for third of the top 3 non-Cinema Draft employees. Right now, that would be Ringballs, Jaybird, and G24. All right, so, yep, sorry, this one's going to be short. Just don't have it in me. Hopefully I don't delete this one as well. Thanks for playing, everybody. Our next update on the sheet will be Sunday afternoon after 12 p.m. Pacific time, and the next video update will be with the final scores Monday after 12 p.m. Pacific time. Usually give me 2 or 3 hours to get everything all together, and I'll also have for you a sneak peek at next week's talent pool. Thanks everybody for playing. Sorry for my annoyance, and see y'all on Monday.